Okay, let's get started. I'm going to be going through the MBE questions there are essentially three different ways you can go through an MBE question on the bar exam. And the, the three different ways are: first, you just start from the top to the bottom. Second, you start with reading the call of the question and then go up to the top. And the last method is if you read the call of the question, read the answers, and then go back to the top to go through the fact pattern. And I will show you how I run through these questions and you can see what resonates with you. Um, so let's give this a try here. So let's start with the method of going through it just by looking at the top to bottom first. And here you would see that it says an auto retailer started a marketing promotion on a new hybrid model sedan. Usually what you want to do this entire time, whatever you are doing, you are always trying to Iraq the problem, because we think about Iraq in essay writing, but it really occurs in the MPT, the performance test, as well as the MBE, because Iraq is just a simple, very clear way for you to do legal analysis, which is what you're being tested on these exams. So what you're looking for is just Iraqing the problem so that you can get to that C, which is the answer you're looking for. And so the first thing you should gather is what subject they're testing you on. And here it says an auto retailer started a marketing promotion on a new hybrid model sedan. We don't really know just yet what's going on. Um, then it says it advertised that anyone who purchased the car in 2013 and did not get at least 50 miles per gallon average gas mileage during the first 60 days would receive a payment of $10,000 cash from the company. So as soon as you see that, then the word that gets highlighted to me is it advertised. And to me, that's a hint that it's a contracts question. So I'm thinking that it's a contracts question at this point, and obviously you're going through it very fast. Um, so you can gather that it's a contracts question as soon as you get to it advertised, and then the purchasing of the car, that's a further indication that it is contracts. And then when you get to where you would receive payment of 10,000 cash, that's again just confirmation that you're in the contracts arena, let's say. So then it says record keeping and inspection procedures were required to assure accurate reporting by the vehicle owner. The promotion was widely publicized. Okay, so it's a advertisement is what they said it is. A female customer purchased a hybrid model during the promotion period, followed all the rules, and recorded only 42 miles per gallon in the first 60 days. So she demanded the rebate, but the company stalled for months and then stopped responding to her inquiries. Now, the call of the question is, does she have a contractual right to collect the $10,000? Here we get absolute confirmation that it's a contract question. So you would have to then look, does she have a contractual right to collect the $10,000 that says you would get payment of that if you don't get that promised mileage per gallon. So it seems to be a validity of contract questions. You should be thinking, okay, was there a valid contract? And you may hopefully think of this as a um, promise for performance, which is a unilateral contract. So it seems to me like they do have a contract. So I'm a little bit biased at this point because as soon as you identify the issue they're testing on, which at this point you're identifying it as the issue of validity of contract for one thing. So even if you just get there, validity of contract, that's what you should be gathering here, is that's what they're testing you on. So that would be your I, okay? I, which is, let's go ahead and make a note there. You essentially identify the issue as validity of contract. Is there a valid contract? Is there a valid contract? So, and at where you can then at this point, you would probably gather, let's say, that they're testing you in the contract subject area. This is what you should be doing as you're going along. And so I am at this point biased towards the idea that, yes, this is a valid contract. So I would say, does she have a contractual right to collect? I'm biased towards the 2 yeses here. And you don't have to make a decision yet, but I'm thinking that these 2 are my inclination to pick. So I will pay more close attention to those. And so at this point then, I would be thinking, so let's go ahead and just leave those arrows to remind us here that we want to be paying attention to this answer choice as well as this answer choice. Okay. So this one says yes, because this is a classic bilateral contract. Well, it's not a bilateral contract, because bilateral contract is a promise for a promise, and we don't see this here. Hopefully you see that. And up here, hopefully you identify that this is a unilateral contract. So as soon as you see this, because it's a promise for performance, essentially, and as soon as you see this answer choice, then where it says, oh, it's a bilateral contract with the answer choice A, bilateral is no, that you can eliminate that because it is a classic bilateral contract. Make it necessary that the company live up to its set of promises made to her. We can eliminate that so that we don't get distracted anymore. And you have the option of going to C next. I would just go down the line, or I usually go down the line, but certainly because you're biased towards C, just know that it's there. So don't be too quick to pick B. But I just would go all the way down. Okay. And B says, no, this was merely puffing, was not an offer to contract with any particular person, and was without consideration. Not true. I identified it as a unilateral contract. So it's not puffing because it's quite solid. I mean, it's very detailed. So that would not be the case. And puffing, I think sometimes puffing comes into play with in torts more with the larceny by false pretenses is where you associate puffing with that. So I'm not too keen on that answer choice. Then for answer choice C, it says, yes, this was a bilateral contract in which the offeree acted upon the offer by performing. And here are some really nice keywords that is associated with the unilateral contract. So performance, and it even calls it unilateral contract in which the offeree acted upon the offer by performing the terms of the offer, thus creating a binding contract. And so I really like that answer choice. Now, if you were really certain, I mean, I think I would have just moved on and make a note that I didn't check this answer choice. But as soon, if you really, I racked it and identified it and know for sure that it's a unilateral contract, then it's okay for you to circle that and move on, or you can, let's say, pick it and then pick it and still look at the other answer choice. Okay. So the answer should be C, and I'm just checking my answer key, and I believe that's the answer. But let's look at answer choice D. D says no, because she did not formally notify the company that she was accepting the offer before she started performing. Again, the way to accept a unilateral contract is to perform, not to formally accept. Okay, so this is wrong. It's a wrong statement of the law. They didn't identify it as a unilateral contract, but for sure, then I know, and it's confirmed that C is the answer choice. So the C is the correct answer choice. So now we can go through the second method. And I'm trying to have it so that you can, if you like going this way, then this is what you should be looking for as you're going through. If you're the kind of person that looks at the call of the question first and then go up to the fact pattern, I can show you what things to look for as I'm going through that. So let me clear the board here. And see if we can just erase everything, start over, and see if we come up with that, how we can still come up with the correct answer going a different method, because everybody functions differently. Our brains function differently. So if you get to know yourself, you will do yourself a huge benefit by being able to really know how to best help yourself be successful on this bar exam. So if you go to the call of the question, you would think, does she have a contractual right to collect the $10,000? This right away then, and I think that's why some people advise reading the call of the question first, because sometimes you can identify the subject matter at least right away, and sometimes even the issue itself. But again, there's nothing wrong with going, like, we still got there. So don't worry about that. If you are going through from top to bottom, just don't let other people tell you that that's wrong and you won't pass. It's absolutely not true at all. So this one says, does she have a contractual right to collect the $10,000? Okay. Then we know that the subject is contracts. Then we go up to the top and it says an auto retailer started a marketing promotion on a new hybrid model sedan. It advertised, and so this is that's good to know that it's an advertisement. So advertisement, we know, is just an things that you can think about is offer, an invitation to make an offer, or in some cases, depending on the advertisement and how it's phrased, it could be an offer, or an invitation not to make an offer, but an invitation to perform, which is an invitation to accept. So don't discount it right away as, oh, this is not valid because there's no offer. Keep that in mind. So it says it advertised that anyone who purchased the car and did not get at least $50,000 per gallon average gas mileage during the first 60 days would receive a payment of $10,000 cash from the company. Record keeping and inspection procedures were required to assure accurate reporting of the vehicle owner. The promotion was widely advertised or publicized. And now here is a hint that they are moving away from that whole idea. So at this point, maybe at this point here, if you really know your contracts law well, you may think already unilateral contract. by after you finish reading this sentence of what the advertisement is about. It's not an advertisement to make an offer, it's an advertisement for you to be able to receive this if this doesn't happen. And so it's not absolutely clear yet. So most may not recognize at this point just yet, but you may recognize that they're testing you on formation of contract, and if you didn't get that, does she have a contractual right? So it really doesn't tell you, specifically. It's again, valid contract or that whole formation issue that they're testing you on. So um, so you could gather it from that, but you at least know that it's in this contracts realm. And so let's say formation of contracts. And then when you get to this right here, even if you didn't get to unilateral contract, this idea of unilateral contract, and you just get to formation of contract, when you see the promotion was widely publicized, you may be able to recognize that here where it says the promotion, it's starting to move away from the advertisement, which is an offer to, or I'm sorry, an invitation to make an offer. It's more like now it's moving away from that, which means it's more moving towards this offer to accept by performance, which is a unilateral contract. So focusing more on promotion, they went from the big picture to the narrowing it down to a unilateral contract. And so it could be that right here is where you identify unilateral contract, okay? So the promotion was widely publicized. A female customer purchased a hybrid model. So she purchased it. Here's the performance. So that is where now we're starting to see, and you can see that it's a little bit different going in this way than the other direction because we're seeing something else, but you will get to the same place if you learn your rules and your laws well and your subject matter well. So a customer purchased a hybrid model. This indicates the performance during the promotion period, followed all the rules and recorded only 20 or only 40 miles per gallon in the first 60 days. So she wanted a rebate, but the company installed for months and then stopped responding to her injuries. And so I am biased towards, well, she performed. If I spotted that this is a unilateral contract, she performed. And so does she have a contractual right to collect? Yes, she does, because she performed and it didn't meet what they promised her. So again, I'm biased towards the two yes answer choices. And we're right back where we were. I'm biased towards this. And again, you go through and you can eliminate right away, like we did earlier. You can eliminate this and, well, firstly that. And then when you get to C, you really like that because it's exactly what you were thinking. And then you can look at D and see that it's not right. So that's how you still get to the correct answer. By going to the call of the question first rather than going through the fact pattern from top to bottom. So now the third method is we go, and again, I'll clear the board. And the third method is going through and reading the call of the question first, then going through and reading the answer choices, then go back up to the fact pattern if you're one of those people that like to do that. And I can show you again, how I would be able to um, get what we want to do again is I rack the problem so we can get to the C so we know what we're looking for and be a little bit more focused on these MBE questions. So we start out with, again, we start out with the reading the call of the question and same thing, we would get this contractual right, which gives us the subject. We know what subject we're talking about. It's contract. So that's what we identify as the subject. And again, if you can, you know, what you want to do is you want to identify the subject and then you want to IRAC, which means you have to find the issue. And so this would be where you're thinking subject is contracts, um, and then the issue, because it's pretty clear right there, I would hope that you can see that it's validity of contract, kind of like, is there a valid contract? Because um, you can't claim to have a contractual right to get remedies or that $10,000, get the money unless you have a valid enforceable contract. Okay. So that's the issue, essentially. That's the I we're looking for. Then you go down to answer choice A. Answer choice A says yes, because this is a classic bilateral contract. Well, it could or could not be. We haven't read the fact pattern yet. So this is still an okay answer choice right now. We can't eliminate it yet because we don't know if the fact pattern is giving us a unilateral or a bilateral contract. Okay, so what I do here in my mind, obviously, you're going through these really quickly, but what you should be thinking is you would point, let's say, let me do this. I think that I would do this a little bit more differently. What you would do, let's say, is you would think, okay, so this answer choice is pointing me towards a unilateral contract. Okay. And yeah, so it's pointing me towards, I'm sorry, a bilateral contract. So answer choice B equals bilateral contract, making it necessary that the company live up to its set of promises made to her. So if the fact pattern indicates a bilateral contract, this would be a good answer choice. 2 or B is no, this was merely puffing, was not an offer to contract. So then the things that stick out to me was a puffing. I'm kind of in this puffing, I'm thinking that's more of a torts, larceny by false pretenses. But I'm not really sure what to think about that just yet. Was an offer to contract with any particular person and was without consideration. And so I don't have a clear understanding of what the fact pattern is. So I'm not really sure what to do about that answer choice, but I identify this answer choice as an offer and no consideration. So if the fact pattern has those types of facts that indicate that there was an offer, but there was no consideration, then that would be a good answer choice. But at this point, we just don't know, although I'm a little bit not very liking the word puffing, and I wonder if they're trying to get us off track. But I'm not going to make that judgment at this point because I don't know what the fact pattern is. So I'm not going to eliminate that at this point. Then you read, yes, this was a unilateral contract. So now you're seeing, oh, okay, so answer choice A is bilateral, answer choice B is unilateral. So I'm thinking that they're testing on bilateral versus unilateral contract, and that the more likely answer choice is either A or C, because they are a little bit more related in the sense that they're in the same family. Okay, so A and C are looking nicer. Where it says, so the keywords that you would gather from here would be, yes, this was a unilateral contract in which the offeree acted upon the offer by performing. Those are good buzzwords in unilateral contract, thus creating a binding contract. Okay, that's true. That's an absolute true statement of the law. And this is an absolute true statement of the law. So I'm thinking at this point, I'm thinking that testing on your understanding of what is a unilateral contract and what is a bilateral contract. These two answer choices are the ones that I like at this point. But again, I'm not going to eliminate B just yet until I read the fact pattern. Then the last one, no, because she did not formally notify the company that she was accepting the offer before she started performing. So this formally notified the company that she was accepting. This is this moves out of the performance. It's almost like the mixing a couple things. So this is a you don't have to notify to start performing. So it seems like they're using language that is associated with unilateral contract, but they're conveying a wrong statement of interpretation of the law. So I am getting, uh, and then there, it's kind of like, not perfect law is what I'm thinking, because the first part is more towards the idea of the accepting by a promise for a promise, which is a bilateral contract, and then a performance accepting by performing is the unilateral idea. So it's like they're not giving you perfect law. So I'm again thinking, since I have two pretty good rule statements in A and C, I'm still biased towards A and C. But again, I don't think I'm confident enough to clearly cross that out yet. But I would be more likely to cross out D than B, because D just is like trying to confuse different concepts of the law. Okay. Then you go back to you go up to the fact pattern and go through the whole process. And so what you do is you go, an auto retailer started a marketing promotion on a new hybrid model sedan. It advertised that anyone who purchased the car in 2013 and did not get at least 50 miles per gallon average was gas mileage during the first 60 days would receive a payment of $10,000 cash from the company. And so at this point, hopefully, and now for you, since you've gone through the answer choices, unlike the first time we went through, which is from the top to the bottom, since now you get a sense that they're testing you on either unilateral or bilateral contract, at least that's what stuck out to you. You should identify this as a unilateral contract. Like you're seeing that it's a asking for performance, like an invitation to perform, not an invitation to make an offer when you look at the advertisement. And so there's a misconception again that advertisement, when you see that, you're thinking offer or invitation to make an offer. That's not always the case as we see here. And people sometimes forget that or were never taught that. So just keep that in mind, okay? And so this really is a unilateral contract. So as soon as I read that, I'm just thinking that unilateral contract, and I can now like confidently eliminate that because this is completely a wrong interpretation of the fact pattern here. And if you didn't get it there, again, by the time it says the promotion, they calling it promotion, that whole idea of now they are really kind of hinting to you, because you should be watching for hints of the way they're giving you the fact pattern. They're hinting to you that this is really not an advertisement or an invitation to make an offer, but it's more like this quote unquote promotion, which means that do this and we will give you things. Okay. Um, so it's a little more definite in that sense. It is an offer to perform. They are invitation for you to perform, if that's easier to think about. However you think about it, just get that concept in your head. Now you have a female customer purchase the hybrid model during the promotion period, follow the rules, recorded only 42 miles per gallon in the first 60 days. So it didn't perform the way that they promised that it would. So she wants to get her money, get a rebate. So she should win because they do have a valid contract. Okay, they do have a valid contract. So she should win. So I'm biased towards the yes. I know for sure this is not a good yes. So I'm liking this yes. And to remind myself, there's you don't, it's once you have a unilateral contract, once the other person performs, then you're really not needing to think about offer acceptance and consideration. You don't need to go to that route when you're dealing with unilateral contracts. So you can eliminate B. And now that we identify it clearly as a unilateral contract, I would not even go and try to figure out what they want to say in answer choice D and just pick C. And even if you can't clearly eliminate it, but like I said, when they are doing things like this, when it just doesn't feel right to you, they're just mixing up laws. So it's not a good idea to pick that as an answer choice unless you really cannot see any better answer choices. Okay. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have questions, just go ahead and comment below. If you have other MBE questions to that you want to see me go over, just comment below. Let me know which ones they are. Yeah, and then I'm happy to go through and just walk you through things. Okay. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.